The Miami Heat set a record, shot the lights out, beat the Boston Celtics. Did the Boston Celtics fall into the diabolical Eric Spoelstra's trap? Talk about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster brand, it's holiday season, drop Drew in the mix. And 3 from KP, no we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Deuce, still B-Town's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in locked on after. Karalis on the breakdown, clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic, documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how we started, raising business, how we finish. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I got you covered every single day, Monday through Friday, with a free, a fresh podcast that's dropped directly to your device, and you can watch the show on YouTube, get into the comments section, let me know what you think. Boston Celtics lose game 2. Oh, woo! People are not happy with me because I predicted a sweep. That's out the window, although 4 or 5, 5 would be good. We'll see how that goes. Today's show is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Yeah, I've got a competitive side, and it's a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist, and the classic Monopoly. So join your friends, download Monopoly Go now for free at the App Store or Google Play. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis. Used to play a long time ago. Now I'm covering the Celtics as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. Let's just dive right in here, right? Later on, we'll talk about it's not panic time or anything like that. We'll talk about the defensive plan on Jaylen and Jayson and all of that. Let's just start with the obvious, right? The Miami Heat just shot. We talked about how much they just need to shoot, and hope they get hot. Well, they shot. They shot 43 three-pointers. 43 of their 75 shots were three-pointers. And oh, baby, did they get hot. 23, a Miami Heat playoff record, 23 three-pointers. 23 of their 37 makes were three-pointers. This is math. This is the math that we talked about. They flipped the math on the Boston Celtics. Boston outshot them by 10, so they won that by 30. Now Miami outshoots Boston by 11. Boston was 12 of 32, only 12 makes, only 32 attempts. Oh, everybody's like, they just need to get to the rim. Just get to the rim, get to the rim, get to the rim. Well, they did get to the rim. They needed to mix in more three-pointers. They needed to get to the rim for sure, but they also needed to drive and kick. They needed to get some of that kick game in there, and there was no kicking, right? The Celtics only had 21 assists. No one had more than 4. Jayson Tatum had 3 after his triple-double. Jaylen Brown had 1. That's not going to get the job done at all for Boston. But the math, 37 makes for each team. Boston took more shots, 80 to 75. Boston took and made more free throws. So they got outscored by 33 at the three-point line. It's like a taste of their own medicine. It's like the Family Guy clip where the guy in prison stabs himself and goes, oh, that's what I've been doing to people? I deserve to be in here. The Celtics barrage of three-pointers that they drop on other teams, this is what it feels like from the other side. Miami took good three-pointers, early three-pointers. Boston did not challenge the three-pointers. It's the one thing that I said in yesterday's podcast. I specifically said Andre Drummond can shoot three-pointers without being contested, without being bothered. The Celtics, no matter who was shooting, they had to bother the shots. They had to at least make Miami think about the threes that they were taking, right? Like you just couldn't let them get comfortable. And Jayson Tatum, after the game, says, we let them get too comfortable. You lose them in transition. Now, part of this is the Celtics didn't shoot great early on. They didn't shoot great overall, 46% from overall, 37.5% from 3. If you're not making shots, you're not getting back to set your defense. You're getting cross-matched. You're losing shooters. Transition three-pointers, it's a great opportunity to shoot a 3 because You're stepping into it. You're in rhythm. You feel good just catching it and get your 1-2 and launching it. It's a natural kind of comfortable shot to take. And if the other team that defensively is in transition, you're kind of looking around, you're like, where's my guy? Who am I getting? Oh, I'm picking up this guy. We're cross-matched. Who's got Tyler Hero? Oh, there he goes. He's shooting. What are you going to do in that situation? You have to run better offense. You have to run smoother offense. And I felt like early on in the first quarter when Jayson Tatum was it was Jaylen Brown who was backing down Tyler Hero. Jaylen Brown hit a turnaround fadeaway post up on Tyler Hero. It might have been Boston's first basket. Miami had come down and hit a 3. Jaylen hit that shot. And I immediately thought to myself, I hope this isn't how this goes. Because the Celtics are going to get drawn into this mismatch hunting. And Miami very clearly is going to start taking the 3-pointers. And it just started to go down that road. Once you let somebody like Caleb Martin get comfortable, the streakiness kicks in. Once you feel good as a shooter, like it's one thing for Steph Curry to work through 3-4 misses and then get going, right? It's one thing for an elite shooter to miss 2, 3, 4 in a row. They're going to keep shooting. They're going to find their way. If a guy like Caleb Martin, Jaime Jaquez, Haywood Highsmith, guys who aren't normally knockdown, just killer 3-point shooters, if they see a couple fall early, that confidence can roll for a whole game. It's, no pun intended, hit or miss with them, because if you miss the first couple, the confidence gets shaken, right? And like I said, an elite shooter like Steph Curry doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your confidence doesn't waver a whole lot. You just keep going. And everybody's going to have a bad day. But if you're one of those league average to below league average shooters, you miss a couple and it tends to cascade on you. You tend not to have the best shooting night. But Caleb Martin gets going early, 5 of 6. Jaime Jaquez, 3 of 6. Haywood Highsmith, 3 of 5. You can't let those guys get going. Nikola Jovic, he's a decent 3-point shooter. Here he is, 3 of 4. He's very willing to let it fly. Tyler Hero has one game he has it, one game he doesn't. So this was the game where he had it. 6 of 11 from 3. He also had 14 assists running the pick and roll with Bam Adebayo. One thing that stood out to me in the first game, Bam Adebayo had no dunks in the first game. He had a couple in this one. He finally cut an alley-oop. If Bam Adebayo is catching alley-oops, then the Miami offense is running really well. But it comes down to, very simply, if Miami doesn't hit 53.5% of their 3-pointers, they probably don't win this game. And I want to believe that this is the outlier. But Miami has now, this is their 4th such game against Boston. They beat the Celtics last year by hitting these high variance type of games. They had 3 50+% shooting nights against the Celtics in last year's playoffs. This is how they made it to the NBA Finals last year. They just kept shooting. They just kept piling up a bunch of threes, and they kept on going. No issue with a season long not playing this type of game. There's no issue of, falling into the habits of the regular season. You tell a guy to shoot, and all of these guys felt like, yeah, all right, fine, we'll shoot. No issues there for me. So they did, and they hit a bunch. So we can say this season, the way they've shot the ball, there's no way they do this 3 more times, because this is how you got to beat the Celtics. There is no other way for them to beat the Celtics besides doing this. Can they do it 3 more times? I don't think so. Nobody thinks so. But Eric Spoelstra is a witch. I joked on Boston Sports Journal, if this was 1692, he would have been dragged to Salem and tried as a witch. But I don't know. I want to believe that they are not going to have an outlier shooting performance like this again, but they've done it so many times. It's like, oh, but it might not have mattered. It might not have mattered if Boston didn't take the bait. If the Celtics, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown didn't take the bait from the Miami defense. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Sports today. Forget about Fox Sports, ESPN, and all those big fake argument shows. Real debate, real talk here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Find Locked On Sports today streaming 24/7 on YouTube and on the Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's your team every day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. The Celtics were baited. I knew that somehow they were going to bait the Celtics into taking too many twos. The math had to be flipped for Miami to win. Had to. And I said on yesterday's podcast, maybe they go 3-2, which they threw a little bit out there. But they switched a lot. And that was the big thing that Joe Mazzulla was hanging his hat on after the game. They switched a lot. And when they switch, now Tatum and Brown are hunting mismatches. When they're getting the switches, Tatum and Brown are sitting there like, give me Tyler Hero. Give me Duncan Robinson. Give me this matchup. Give me that matchup. The Miami Heat didn't go to Kevin Love much at all, 6 minutes, because they decided to switch. And they went bigger. Jovic played on Kristaps Porzingis. Give him a lot of credit. He played Kristaps Porzingis well. Bam Adebayo gets to roam a little bit, and they're switching so much that if you're switching 1 through 4, well, now Tatum and Brown are taking 2-pointers. Jayson Tatum, 20 of his shots were he took 20 shots, 6 were 3-pointers, so 14 2-pointers. Jaylen Brown, 23 shots, 9 3-pointers. He's the only one who really took the high volume shots. But that still means 14 2-pointers. He's going to go to the rim a lot. What they didn't do is pass, right? Tatum 3 assists, Jaylen 1. Tatum is the guy that draws the doubles, and they didn't double. They didn't do that. And if you're not going to do that, Tatum's not going to give up the ball. So what the Celtics have to do against the switching defense is run some more actions, first of all, where you set the screen with Porzingis and he slips and you get him shots going to the basket. Spread the floor, put Holiday in one corner, put Derek White in the other corner, and have Jaylen or Jayson, whomever, on one side of the floor. And you run the pick and roll to the other side. You drag the help away. You run a pick and roll, and if they're switching, either they're not switching 1 through 5, and you just either Jaylen gets or Jayson gets an open 3-pointer, or Porzingis gets an open 3-pointer, or you just run a normal pick and roll and you get to the rim, right? And Porzingis is there to clean things up and you crash the boards. You get a corner crash. I think that's the way you do it. You can run the pick and roll and just have, if they're going to switch 1 through 5, have Porzingis slip. You can do different things against the switch that don't involve just give me this mismatch. And I heard Brian Scalabrine talking about it on TV after the game. They bit on those mismatches, but they didn't have to because everybody has a mismatch, right? Like there are decent defenders here on the Miami Heat, but if it's just Tatum and Brown doing all the heavy lifting, and they took 43 of Boston's 80 shots, so they both took more than half the shots. They're going to be high volume guys, right? They're going to take a lot of shots anyway, but there has to be more spread out offense, right? Porzingis 9 shots, Derek White 8 shots, Holiday 12 shots. That's a whole different story, but nothing for Pritchard. No shots at all. Horford just 3, Sam Hauser just 5. So it's not just about, oh, they're switching. Your 2 main guys are going to go get the bulk of the offense. It's they're switching. So let's run them ragged. Let's see if we can't get easy shots, easy runs to the rim. Like if you're just going to keep switching, well, let's see if you can't just get them tired and open something up where one of these other guys can get going too and get them some confidence. Get Porzingis a couple of easy shots, right? Get him a couple of dunks. Get him going. Get Derek White going. Get Holiday going. It just feels like Tatum and Brown, when push comes to shove, they're isolation players. And if you dangle the bait in front of them, they're always going to take it. And they'll sit there and they'll say, those are the best shots. And maybe Joe Mazzulla will say those are the best shots. But those are the shots that Miami wants you to take. They want to bait you into that game, that 2-point game. This is Boston's mentality being used against them, right? Play the math game. Get baited into the 2-point shots. We'll take all the 3-point shots and let's play the variance game. Let's see if all of your 2-pointers can beat whatever 3-pointers we hit. Now, of course, if Miami shoots 45% instead of 53%, right? So that's what? 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18. We'll throw one more, 19 in there. Approximately, right? So that's 4 fewer 3-pointers. Well, that's 12 points, and it was a 10-point game. So if they shoot just a normal percentage, a high percentage, right? Not ungodly high, you have room there to win the game. And if the Celtics, if the Celtics make some free throws, they were 15 of 21, there's some right there. If the Celtics can get a few more 3-pointers, well, now the math changes, right? If Boston can shoot 40%, even if they shoot 30, right? That's what? 4, 8, 12, and 13, 14. 14 3-pointers. So there's 2 more 3-pointers there. So that's +6. You take away 9 from, or you take away 12 from them. So we're in an 18-point swing plus a couple of free throws. It's a 20-point swing. So instead of losing by 10, you win by 10. You can sit there and say, just fix the math a little bit. And you hope that Miami doesn't shoot like 53%. They shoot, even if they shoot like a great percentage, but not this, the math can flip. And if you don't just settle for, we're going to take the 2-pointers, like if you're going to post up Jaylen Brown, run some actions. Whenever Jaylen says, oh, give me Tyler here on the post, run some actions where guys are cutting something off the ball where maybe you can just have him be a facilitator out of the post. It's a great place for somebody to become a passer, right? Somebody's got to go and make a move, make a cut. Don't just stand there and watch. Get these other guys more involved. They need to get more shots for a lot of these guys. It's just no help. No help. Derek White got going in the fourth quarter, but that's it. Porzingis, Holiday, got to be better. I'll talk more about that, and it's not time to panic at all. I hope people are not panicking, although I have an inclination that if I look at the comment section, aside from all the Heat fans, hi, Heat fans, I know you're here. I know you're here to clown me. I said Celtics in 4. It's not going to be Celtics in 4. Congratulations, right? Congratulations. So now, still Celtics fans, not time to panic. I'll talk about that in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by BetterHelp. That's therapy, all done conveniently online, designed to fit your schedule. And I'm sure after a game like this is a great time for somebody to just go talk through something. I'm not even joking. It's worth talking it out with somebody here. But it could be something more serious, right? It could be a relationship thing. It could be a work thing. It could be something that's been hanging around for you for a while, a family thing. Whatever it is, talking through it, therapy is going to be very, very helpful. I believe in therapy. I think it's been very beneficial for me. And I think it can do the same for you. Because it's all online, you don't have to go shopping around just for therapists in your area. You don't know if there's a good one in your area. And if you go to the one in your area and that person is not a good one and you try to switch, where are you going to find that one? Well, on BetterHelp, you can switch and there's no extra charge, right? That's a big element for me. Fill out your survey, your questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist. If it clicks, great. If it doesn't, you can switch. BetterHelp.com. That's H-E-L-P. BetterHelp. HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Go sign up. 10% off your first month. All online, flexible, suited to your schedule. BetterHelp. HELP.com/LockedOnNBA for 10% off your first month. Today's show also brought to you by DoorDash. It's never too late to show your mom some love. It's Mother's Day, right? Mother's Day is right around the corner here. And DoorDash, you can use DoorDash to surprise your mom, right? You don't want to ruin a surprise with somebody else. Use DoorDash as the surprise. She's not expecting someone showing up at the door. So whatever it is, your mom got a sweet tooth. Is she a tech person? Is she outdoorsy? Is she into the beauty stuff? Whatever it is, you can get her a bouquet. You can get her makeup. You can get her tech gear, workout wear. It's all there on DoorDash, and you get $0 delivery fee, reduced service fees on eligible orders from DashPass merchants that meet the minimum subtotal. There are other fees, including service fee, that apply, but the $0 delivery fee and reduced service fees are there. You can get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place. Get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now. But you've got to use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. Hope you enjoyed the show. Me and Jake on Wednesday, rotating hosts all week long, covering all of the playoffs. You can get an alternate perspective on the Celtics loss to Miami. Go check out Locked On NBA wherever you got this podcast. Look, the Celtics have to find a way to get Kristaps Porzingis involved. What happened in this game? He had a bad game. He was 1 of 9. He couldn't find his rhythm from 3. He even said after game 1 that his shot wasn't feeling like its best. It was the in-game interview. I was rewatching. He said, "Oh, my shot doesn't feel like its best." So he might be kind of trying to dial in his shot. Regardless, he needs to stop worrying about officials. He does that big sweep through on his shot. He spent the first half of the season getting fouls. Now what he's doing basically with the sweep through is drawing contact, and it's affecting his shot, and it's not going in, and he's not getting the call. So he has to figure this out. He has to make that adjustment. He's got to stop. That big sweep through move is not getting called. It hasn't been getting called for like months now. Stop doing it. You end up hurting yourself. So Porzingis has to be the outlet. This series, Miami is the team that they got Porzingis for. This is where they need him the most. He has to punish the Miami Heat. So Boston has to get him the ball, and they have to get out of his way and give him some passing options with some off-ball actions. But they have to make sure that he's getting the ball in his spots, that he's comfortable, and that he has passing options. Very, very simple. Get Porzingis going, get him involved, and this 1 for 9, 6 points that he put up, this cannot happen again. You put yourself at real risk for losing another game here in this series, and maybe more if you cannot get Kristaps Porzingis going. And Miami knows this. Miami knows this. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Nikola Jovic for making life difficult for Porzingis. This is going to be a very important couple of days for Porzingis to go and watch that film and figure things out. Tatum after the game says, we've got to get creative getting him the ball. They need to do that. Use him in the pick and roll more often. He's not just the floor spacer. Use him in the pick and roll more often. Get him the ball. Get him more involved. All that said, it's definitely not time to panic. I've been saying all year that this team is different, and people are coming at me now because the people who don't think this team is different, this is like their evidence. And my response has been all season long, it's not about the lapse. It's not about the bad game. And the Celtics, I think, didn't play well at all. Miami played perfectly. Miami played this game perfectly. Like, all credit to Miami. They played a perfect game. The Celtics did not. Far from it. And part of it is because of how they were defended. But also, it's because the Celtics didn't defend Miami very well. They didn't do all of the things that they normally do on offense. They didn't move the ball well. Even though the other team is switching, and I know that when the other team is switching and you allow a lot of physicality, it tends to turn into ISO ball. The Celtics have to get creative in how to get out of that. It's how they respond. How do they respond to this game? That's going to tell you, am I right or am I wrong? Right? I'm putting it all out on the line. I've been saying all year long, this team is different. And I think the regular season has shown that this team is different. Now we're in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs against a tough team, and the Celtics are going up against Eric Spoelstra and his band of merry men who, whenever there's an adjustment to be made, they all buy in. They buy in real hard, and they execute it perfectly. And you have to find a way to combat that. You have to find a way to respond to that. I'm all in on my belief that this team is different because of how they're able to respond to adversity. This playoff moment proves me right or proves me wrong. We're going to find out Saturday night. If the Celtics respond and take game 2 and play well, it doesn't mean they're going to win by 40, or I don't know if it's going to be 4 or 14, whatever it is. If the Celtics come out and play well, if the Celtics come out and respond and win that game and answer what Miami has thrown at them, defend that 3-point line better, right? Don't give up 43 3-pointers and let them walk into enough shots to get comfortable so they shoot better than 50%. Work the ball yourself. Get the 3-pointers. Make sure that you're winning that math. I know math is like the dirty word now, but you have to win the math. If the Celtics can respond, then I feel I will have been justified in my belief that they are a different team this year. If they go out in game 3 and play the same way and struggle, and even if they win because Miami just gets all the same shots and misses 10 of those threes that went in, then I won't be as confident. But I do believe that this team is different this year. I believe it. I think Saturday, like I'm pushing all my chips in. Saturday night in Miami, I will either be proven right or I will be proven wrong. If the Celtics respond and win and look good doing it, then great. If they don't, then I guess it was 82 games of having us fooled. We'll see what happens. But I don't think it's time to panic now. You only panic after you see if they can respond or not. We'll see how they do. I will be in Miami. I will be doing a crossover episode with the Locked On Heat guys and getting us ready for that weekend in Miami. I will have a bonus podcast for you after Saturday night's game, and then obviously podcasts after every game. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Watch the show on YouTube. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. And if you are already subscribed, then I'd love it if you shared the podcast. Spread the word. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.